episode of Just Cooking. I'm your host, Bassam Al-Alawi, aka Be The Maker on Instagram of the Arcine Cafe at the Bahrain National Museum. I said that all in one breath. Good for me. And today I am super excited to have one half of the superb duo that makes up Alabaster and Cannoli. Today we have Laura, aka Alabaster, of Alabaster and Cannoli. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm so happy to have you here. I'm a huge fan of all your stuff. You've actually recently completed.
Cute. It's beautiful.
I know, it is very dramatic. But you actually recently finished, you and Maria, the other half of Alabaster and Cannoli.
Cannoli.
Yes.
Yes.
Recently completed a food is culture initiative by the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities. And it was awesome. How'd you like that?
We loved it. We had such an amazing time just doing our research, creating new dishes, and just learning about Bahrain and Bahrain's history and things that we didn't even know.
And kind of feeding me constantly.
Yes, we did feed him constantly.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm starving and calorically deprived. I'm not. So today, you've prepared something that you think people are going to love this Ramadan.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So today we're going to be making hand pies because being Alabaster and Cannoli, a big part of what we do and what we make are pies. And I love pie. I'm a big pie person. It's one of my favorite desserts ever.
Same.
So we're actually going to be making PB&J hand pies. So peanut butter and jam hand pies.
And that's like a classic childhood combo.
Yes.
It's perfect, you can't go wrong. And imagine that sandwich between two pastry layers of crispy goodness.
It's delicious. And it's great to have as an adult and also for kids. So anyone can really eat them and enjoy them.
But like mostly as an adult. Just saying.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you want to start with?
We're gonna start with pie crust.
All right.
So you have all these lovely ingredients on the side.
I do, and I shall gently hand them to you.
One by one.
One by one.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is, I need the butter now, actually.
All right, so basically with this pie, pie crust is like critical, and to do it right is what you're gonna show us today.
Definitely,
right?
and this pie dough is a very basic pie dough. Anyone can do it. Anyone can make it. You just have to make sure. The big tip, the main tip here is that your butter stays cold.
How cold? Like as cold?
As cold as possible.
All right.
Yeah. So you just want to make sure that your butter stays cold, and even like we live in a very hot country, so just make sure that butter stays refrigerated right before you're about to make the pie crust.
Perfect. And basically what makes, oh my God.
There, look at this
the
magical
magic of television. That's Maria, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you got your butter. I'm gonna set it over, should I set it over here?
Yeah, you can set it over there.
Okay, I'm setting it over there.
So we have 340 grams of flour.
Okay.
And we're gonna cut into that 228 grams of butter.
Right.
Very cold butter. Make sure the butter is cold.
Ice cold. Like a nice tall glass of water in the summer heat.
Yes.
Except not liquid.
Except not liquid.
No. That would be melted butter, and we are confused.
I thought you were talking about the water. I was like, water is liquid.
Tomato.
Oh, potato.
There you go.
So you're gonna help me cut in the butter because we're
Okay.
doing it by hand. Now to
Right.
make this process a little bit faster, you can use a food processor or what I like to call a zutzut because that's the noise it makes.
A zit, ladies and gentlemen. You can get that at every department store close to you.
Love the plug.
I know.
So we're gonna cut this in,
Right.
and I'm using a.
And you said cut this in. So what does that entail in terms of a process? Like, what are you looking for?
I'm about to show you
Okay.
right now. So you can take this plate,
I have to gently place the plate on the side.
but grab your knife.
Okay, knife grabbed.
So we're gonna first just kind of toss the flour and the butter
Okay,
together, so it's kind of coated.
right. And it's cold enough that it doesn't melt when you touch it, kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
It's a little bit warm here because the studio's kind of warm, but that's fine. That's fine. You can make it work. All right, so you're gonna take this half,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take this half.
So I'm gonna cut this part basically, and I'm gonna get it as small as I can.
Yes, that's basically what you're trying to do. You just want to cut the butter so it's these really tiny, like pea-size size.
Pea-size size. For those of you who are mathematicians. Right? Why not?
I am most definitely not a mathematician.
And yet, you guys at Alabaster and Cannoli make some of the best pastries, cakes. I mean, I'm a fan of your pies. You make them as authentic as they come.
Yes, because we're big believers in making things from scratch.
Right.
Even down to our pie crust, it's all made from scratch. Our fillings, everything that we do is made from scratch, and there's a lot of TLC that goes into it, tender love and care.
In case y'all didn't know.
So one thing you want to do while you're cutting it in, though, though is just make sure when you're feeling the butter that it feels cold.
Yeah.
The minute you feel like it's room temp or a little bit warm, you want to just put it in a bowl and just put it back in the fridge.
Right.
And then get back to it in a minute or two.
Perfect.
There's a lot of patience with crusts.
And I mean, we don't want to overwork it is the idea, right?
Well, you can overwork it just a little bit because it is a hand pie. You do need it to have a little bit of structure. So you
Right.
want it to be flaky, but not too flaky that it just falls apart as you're doing it
And
or as you're eating it.
Brilliant. And you basically designed this as a hand pie so that it goes from your hand to your mouth.
Exactly.
When we come back, this would have been ready, and we will not expend this much effort. See you in a bit. So you're basically done with the cutting, which I contributed about 20%. Right.
No,
so
you helped. You helped.
Just a little bit.
It was a team effort.
It was. It always is. So
So this is basically the texture that you want the butter and the flour to look like. So it's almost like powdery, buttery sand.
and it's okay if they're like slightly bigger pieces.
Yes.
Okay,
That is
great.
definitely okay.
Brilliant.
So now we're gonna just add 2 more ingredients. Well, not 2, but we're gonna add 2 more dry ingredients into the mix.
All right. So that's sugar.
Sugar and salt. So it is 27 grams of sugar and 8 grams of salt. I do have a label back here. So just
We need labels. There's a lot of ingredients.
numbers are hard sometimes.
I know.
So you're just gonna sprinkle it on top,
Okay.
just like that.
Beautiful. And you know, somebody offset. That's salt pepper, by the way. Was like, this smells amazing.
Yes.
And she's really right.
There's
Like,
nothing like fresh pie crust.
I know.
And you can definitely tell the difference between pie crust that's fresh versus one that's ready-made.
what's the difference, like texturally? Is it like weird and soggy?
No, it's like, I always feel like ready-made pie crust just tastes like a biscuit. It always just feels like a hard shell. Like there's nothing,
Right.
there's no depth to
Flakiness.
it. There's no flakiness. It all
Right.
just tastes the same. There's one note in that pie crust.
And that's what they should look for when they eat fake pie. Just saying.
But a real pie crust, like a good, proper pie crust, it's flaky, it's buttery, sometimes it's a little salty or sweet, and
Nice
it
flavor.
always looks imperfect.
Right, right.
That's another thing. Like it shouldn't look perfect. It should look like
So people shouldn't be worried that it looks like something Martha Stewart, sent you from home.
pretty much.
It's okay. It's okay.
So now that we've added our sugar and salt,
Okay.
we're going to add our water.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie. I could tell people an amount, I could tell you guys an amount and be like, you need X amount of water, but it really does depend on the temperature of your environment.
We've had this problem before. We were making choux pastry the other day, and the eggs. You got to take it into account where you are, how much moisture is in the air.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely. So what you're gonna do when you add the water is just gonna create a little well in the
Okay.
middle.
So you got the ice water. What are you gonna do now?
Ice cold water is what you want. So you're just gonna add a little bit into the center of your well,
Right.
just a little.
And that's like a tiny amount. Like people think it's like a river. No.
Yeah, no, you want to add it in bits because one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started making crust is that I just pour in all the water.
Right.
And my crust would just turn into this soggy mess. So you want to make sure that you just add it in bits,
Right.
and then you're going to keep cutting the water in slowly.
And you guys at ANC have always made pies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you start with pies? And you know what? More importantly, I am sure people are gonna DM everybody and ask, how do we get their produce, or no produce, their baked goods is what I was trying to say.
Correct.
Yes. So how do people get in touch with you? Number one.
Okay.
And number two, do you just do pies?
So, to answer your first question,
Indeed.
to get in touch with us, the best way to contact us is through phone call. So our number is on our Instagram or through our website. We have a link on our Instagram which you can just go to. There's an order page for treats and other baked goods that we do, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And you can just place your order through that, or even if
Brilliant.
you want to just call, you can call us on our number and we're always there to answer.
And in case you want to know what their Instagram is, Laura's going to spell it now, very impromptu, but it's going to be at the bottom of the screen. So make sure to go there.
All right, I'll cut it in and I'll spell it. It's ALABASTER.CANNOLI.
There you go.
Yay, I can
Alabaster
spell.
cannoli. All right, so where are we with the pie crust?
I'm checking right now before I answer your second question, which I didn't forget about.
Do not, because I kind of did, because I'm a forgetful human being.
So it is a little warm in here, I'm gonna say that from now, but this is kind of what you want your dough to do. You wanna make sure that,
Holding on to each other.
right, once the dough basically combines, like you can see right here.
It was a tiny amount of water.
Yeah, I didn't even use all the water. We have pie dough right here.
Uh-huh.
So this is half of the recipe that we just made.
Right.
Because
the full recipe will be on there for you guys.
And what we're gonna do with this pie dough is we're gonna roll it out. But we want to roll out some of the hand pies to be very thin and some a little bit thicker.
Why?
As the bottoms and the tops of our hand pie.
There you go.
So we're gonna show you how to do that in a second. If I can
And
open
the
this.
thicker part is the bottom of the pie.
Yes.
Okay.
So Bassam, since you've been standing there for a
Oh,
while.
God. I'm not very good at rolling pie
This
crust.
is a team experience, not a me experience.
It's okay. Some of us are schizophrenic.
Okay, what you want to do,
Okay.
I'm going to move that aside, is this is already nice and, I mean, it's kind of warm, so flour your surface, please.
Actually, I would like you to flour the surface, considering you have this new thing with your hand.
It's actually not that new, it's just
It's new to me.
a little sprinkle.
Would you look at that? Now, if I did that, I'd be flouring everything behind us.
The surface of wherever you roll your pie crust on has flour on it, so it doesn't stick.
In fairness, that was a bit of a tongue twister.
It was, right?
It was.
It's hard. Sometimes words are hard.
They are. They
So,
really are.
Bassam, this is already a rectangle.
Okay.
This is your rolling pin.
Okay.
A little bit of flour on top.
Do I flour the rolling pin?
Yeah. Because it is warm in here,
I
so you want to flour everything.
There we go.
And you're just gonna roll it.
Should I roll it continuously, or kind of just press it down a little bit?
You can press it. Everyone has their own little technique on how they like to roll things.
I'm already very nervous, and luckily I'm wearing a bandana, so none of my sweat will end up in this pie.
Extra flavor.
Salt, electrolytes, you name it. So, I mean, when you did the Food is Culture event, you didn't do a pie. You did like a really delicious melt in your mouth cake. Right? Tell me about that recipe, because I think it had like a very interesting story behind it.
Definitely. So while he's rolling, yeah. So for Food is Culture, we decided to do a cake as sort of our last dish of the evening.
Do I turn this around?
Yeah, you can turn it around.
All right.
Go for it. Let the pie speak to you as you roll.
It's a really nice crust.
Yeah, I told you. And it's easy to work with because it's also cold.
And this is going to make how many portions in terms of the top part and the bottom part?
So you're gonna get 6 hand pies total out of this half of the crust.
Right.
So you're gonna, if you do the full recipe, you'll get 12 total.
All right, so is this all right now?
So this is a good thickness, I think, for the bottom.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna just take a little bit of this. We're just gonna cut it in half.
Love, did I do a good job?
You did do a good job. You get an A+.
Pie Factory, here I come. Never.
So we have our nice cookie cutter
Okay.
right here. We don't have a sheet pan though. I need the sheet pan.
When we're back, we're gonna have a sheet pan. See you in a bit.
We actually have a lot of lemony desserts coming up as well.
Perfect.
So we have that. We also have our lemon tea cake, which we are dropping.
It's like a pound cake.
It is like a pound cake,
Okay,
and it's
perfect.
very lemony, perfect for those who love citrus in desserts. We also have another pie flavor which we are launching, which is a special for Ramadan only, and that is our lemon and rose tart. So it is a
Lemon and rose tart, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of dessert, what you're gonna do now is the filling portion of this, right? All right, let me get this for you. Thank you
extra
very
dough in the fridge.
much. That's gonna go in the fridge. When we come back, we're gonna be doing the filling for these. You're gonna be glazing them, and into the oven they will go.
Yes, sir.
See you in a bit. So the jam, tasted it, blew my mind. Do you have any desserts that actually incorporate this at ANC?
Yes, we do. So one of our cakes is actually called the Razzmatazz, and it's a chocolate cake with raspberry buttercream and raspberry jam. It is also very
You've said
delicious.
enough. You've said enough.
So we're gonna assemble some hand pies.
Right.
You're gonna take this nice bottom, that's yours.
I'm nervous already.
I have this right here, and you're really just gonna, oh, can I have a spoon, please?
Sure. A nice clean spoon. There you go.
Yeah, so you just wanna put about a tablespoon in the center for your filling.
Okay.
So, or if you like more filling, you can do that. It's completely up to you. Some people are about that life.
And if people can't get access to your jam, they can, like, what's the alternative?
You can just use any jam that you find in the supermarket. If you have
Nice.
jam at home that you made, like any jam really works in any hand pie. You also don't have to put the peanut butter frosting on top. You can just make this hand pie on its own with whatever jam you feel like having.
Wonderful. And speaking of which, peanut butter frosting.
Yes. Well,
Yes?
yeah, in a
I
second.
got-
You're very excited.
I am.
You still gotta assemble yours, you know?
I'll do that quickly so you can. There we go. So I took a tablespoon as instructed, and I'm gonna just drizzle in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Okay, perfect.
And you don't want it to spread all the way to the edge because
Right.
it needs to close. You have to seal the hand pie.
So keep a space, like if y'all can see this, there's a space.
Right, so this is your top. It's a little warm in here, but it's fine. And what you're gonna do with the tops is you're gonna poke little holes with a fork on top, and that just, it's a vent, so the air can steam and all that
Perfect.
fun stuff.
And not explode.
And not explode. Egg wash, please.
Sure. And this is just
Egg with a little bit of water.
just one egg.
Yeah, 1 egg, a little bit of water. That's egg wash. It's very simple.
Perfect.
Take your finger and you're just gonna put it around the side of your hand pie. If you get a little bit of jam, it's also fine, it happens.
And this is the glue portion.
This is the glue, and you're gonna take your nice top, you're just gonna put it over, and then you're just gonna seal it. So you wanna press it down so the edges are basically sealed.
Like a little raspberry pocket of goodness.
Of goodness, of happiness, of complete joyness.
Joyness is our new word. Word of the day.
So many new words on here.
So I'm following your instructions here. I kind of went a little overboard with the poke.
That's okay, that's totally fine.
And then I'm gonna take some of that egg wash using a spoon. 'Cause I'm supposed to be fancy.
Oh yes,
There
of
you go.
course.
Is it working?
It is working.
Do you feel like I'm European?
You've got it.
There
And
we
no
go.
jam, and you used a spoon. You see, I messed up. 'cause
One-handed. Yes, if this was an Olympic sport, I'd be the winner.
All right.
So I'm gonna put this on top,
Yes.
like so, gently.
And you're just
And
gonna
then I'm gonna
seal
just
it.
Pinch the ends.
Yes, you've got it.
You guys, and you've designed this basically for Ramadan so that people can make this with their family, with kids. It's very kid friendly.
And what's also great about these hand pies is that you can freeze them. So once you make them like this and you have it ready, you can just put it in the freezer, take it out whenever you feel like eating it, make sure it gets to room temp, and then you can bake them and have them as a snack or just whenever you feel like eating it, to be honest.
Perfect. But they don't bake them like directly out of the freezer.
No, they have to get down to room temp first.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So to make it look all nice, you just want to take your cookie cutter again, just put it over and
I did not know that.
kind of
Kitchen
zhuzh
trick
it around
101.
so it can get a nice little shape.
Yes, mine looks a tad sick.
You can do that, or you can just
Like
press
so.
it. Yeah.
And then kind of, nothing is happening, but that's by design. So you basically kind of crimped up the edges so they look like actual mini pies.
Yep.
Right?
So
Or
I'm gonna
hand
do
pies.
our hand pies. Yeah. So I'm gonna just do yours real quick. That's all you want to do. It's
And just
very simple.
That little aesthetic attention just makes it even more special.
Yeah.
Like when it bakes, it just looks very appealing.
It gives it some pizzazz.
That's the word.
Pizzazz is the word. Like some.
It's Italian. It really isn't. I don't know where it comes from.
Is it Italian?
I have no idea.
I've just been saying it.
I just made that up, but you believed it.
So we can bake these.
Okay.
If you want, you can put them in the fridge and let them chill again, or you can bake them right away if it's nice and cold, or you can put them in the freezer again if you want to store them. But to just bake these, brush a little egg wash.
So now you've crimped them, and you're basically going to put them in the oven. And
Basically.
Right.
So you just want to pop them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is
75
Thank
degrees
you.
Celsius. In a convection, that's about 5 degrees lower. Thank you, other half of Alabaster Cannoli, aka Cannoli Maria. And in a home oven, that's 175. All right. So basically, we're gonna stick these in the oven and
Yep.
a bit more, and then when we come back, they're gonna be out of the oven.
And we're
be
gonna ice
beautiful.
them, and
You're
we're gonna
ice
eat
and you're
them.
gonna eat them.
It's gonna be
There you go.
delicious.
See you in a bit. So you're basically kind of preparing the frosting you talked about, right?
Yes, I
What
am.
goes into this?
So it's just creamy peanut butter, 80 grams of creamy peanut butter with 40 grams of icing sugar.
Nice.
So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna mix it, try to get all that sugar incorporated, and then
And
you're
you're
just,
doing this so you don't want a dust of like sugar in the air, right?
yeah, you don't. You have to just be very careful when you're mixing this part. And then you're slowly just gonna add some whipping cream to it to get the right consistency. That's just,
While you're doing this also bit, I'm gonna take out those pies from the oven. They are ready, and I will try not to burn myself, ladies and gentlemen, with the mittens. We got the mittens. And this is technically half, like today we made half the recipe, but you know, these make 12 pies,
these
right?
make 12 full hand pies for you to snack on, for you to eat. And they're just so good. They're so delicious. I snack on these all the time.
I mean, look at these.
Glorious.
Little jewels of pastry. All right, so now you're doing this, and this is gonna go on top, right? And you're gonna use this tiny little piping there.
Yes,
Look
I
at that.
am.
That's handmade, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, it's just taking a bit of.
So, do you have a lot of desserts that use peanut butter?
We do have a cookie on our menu, which is called the Bear's Peanut Butter Cookie. It's sort of a special, and it's a peanut butter lover's dream cookie. It's got peanut butter on the
Is
inside.
it out this month in Ramadan?
It hasn't launched yet. I don't know when we might be launching it on our menu. It is right now just a special. It's something that we do on special occasions.
Perhaps the first day of Eid would be nice.
Maybe.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
In upcoming treat boxes. We do treat boxes, by the way. Every now and then, we like to do some specials where we put a number of our treats in a
Love that
in a
sound.
package, and you can just kind of take it and bring it to someone's house, and you can snack on it.
Would you look at that, nice and smooth,
Nice and creamy.
beautiful.
And you can add as much peanut butter as you want, as you feel like. It's totally up to you.
I'm nervous.
You got this.
I
Just
got
press, just, yeah.
Here, yes?
Right. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna take some chopped roasted peanuts that we just roasted, and I'm just going to garnish my little hand pie with some peanuts.
I went a little crazy on one of them.
It's okay. It's okay. That's the fun part. The
It is
icing
the
part
fun.
is always the fun part.
There we go. I'm gonna eat it.
Yes. I'm gonna watch you eat it.
Okay. We're gonna reserve the rest for the photography, but I'm gonna eat this one. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so flaky,
Right?
delicious.
Right?
The salt with the like nuts and the raspberry filling.
It
The
tastes
crust.
like a peanut butter sandwich
You should
and
probably
jam.
go home and just leave me with the pie now.
I can, if you want.
It's so good, you guys.
Yay!
And this is just one of your pie crusts. You have so many, and if you want to taste those, you gotta go and order up alabaster.cannoli on Instagram. You know what, Laura? Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoy this Ramadan, and I hope you make this for your family, and I want you to make this for your family because I'm gonna make it for my family.
And you should tag us if you do make it for anybody.
Tag away, ladies and gentlemen, and they will always give you advice. Just shoot them up, they're super friendly. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Just Cooking. Be sure to make this recipe. Have a blessed Ramadan. Stay blessed, stay grateful, stay safe. And I will continue to eat this pie. There you go.
Bye.
Wow.